Well, the Jonathan Majors story has remained pretty interesting this week. Yesterday, we seemed to get some good news for Majors that was developing in New York, but this morning, we got a report from Variety, and it's pretty devastating, and it looks like we're headed to court. Let's break it all down. Well, this case has been pretty interesting to follow, and honestly, it all sounds like bad news for all parties involved. As many of you know, back in March, Jonathan Majors was arrested and was charged with assaulting his then-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. Now, since then, there have been a lot of accusations flying back and forth, and some of them seem to even start to get some momentum with reports that Jabari was going to also be arrested because of the event. But now we've got a new report right out of the Hollywood trades, and it appears now this is going to go to trial and could end up being pretty bad news. Earlier today, Jonathan Majors was back in court for one of his final pretrial hearings, and despite his legal team making absolutely every effort to get the assault charges dismissed, the judge on the case, Judge Michael Gaffrey, rejected the motion, and now we are headed to trial. Now, during the event, a 30-year-old woman named Grace Jabari had alleged that she had been assaulted by Jonathan Majors, with some of the police noting that she had sustained some minor injuries. Now, later on, there was a cross-complaint filed against Jabari alleging she attacked him, but the prosecutors on the case have informed the police and defense they will not be prosecuting Jabari in relation to the incident. Now, last night, Variety published 115 pages of filings associated with the case, and there's some pretty nasty allegations in here. Now, what it suggests is that Jonathan Majors' legal team, quote, leaked and misrepresented court evidence, as well as attempted to have police create a wanted poster with Jabari's photo. Which honestly, guys, is a pretty stunning thing to say in a trade because they're accusing lawyers of wrongdoing, and lawyers can sue you for free, so it sounds to me they likely have their evidence to back up these claims. Now, there's also a pretty deep dive to what happened back in March. Now, in that report, it says that Majors became very aggressive after Jabari saw some suspicious text and grabbed his phone while they were taking a private car service from Brooklyn to their Chelsea apartment. He is alleged to have, and I quote, grabbed the right side of Miss Jabari's body and pried Miss Jabari's right finger off the phone, causing bruising, swelling, and substantial pain. The filing then claims that Majors, quote, grabbed Miss Jabari's arm and right hand and then proceeded to twist Miss Jabari's forearm, causing substantial pain to her finger and arm. The defendant then struck Miss Jabari's right ear, causing a laceration on the back of her ear and substantial pain. Now, Majors is said to have then exited the vehicle, but when she followed, he allegedly, and I quote, picked her up and threw her back inside. She sustained substantial pain, including a fractured finger, bruising about her body, a laceration behind her right ear, and a bump on her head. Now, all of these details are, well, quite honestly, fairly horrifying. I get the instinct to reach for somebody when they've taken your phone, but allowing it to escalate into this level of confrontation, well, honestly, it doesn't look good. Now, I personally have not read all 100+ pages of these court documents, so there's obviously other details in there, but all of this sounds pretty bad for Majors, and now that they're headed to trial, all of this is going to get aired out in a very dirty laundry kind of way. Majors has already been dropped from several high-profile projects, as well as his management company, which was Entertainment 360, and even his PR team, the Letty Company. Now, Marvel Studios has yet to take any actions, and we've suggested all along, Marvel is very likely to wait for the outcome of the trial. Now, I'm pretty sure Marvel doesn't want a situation like Disney ran into with Johnny Depp. That case is also complicated, but it seems like Depp was for the most part exonerated, making Disney look like they jumped the gun. There are rumors that Feige and company might be looking for potential Kang replacements, but for right now, Jonathan Majors is front and center in Loki, and I have no doubt he's sticking around for the rest of the season. It won't be long once the strike's over before they start filming the next upcoming Avengers projects, so I think it's in everybody's best interest to figure this all out. Now, after consulting my lawyer, one thing to understand is typically these things have negotiations, and most of the time deals are offered before we go to trial. It is often said if you don't accept the deal, well, the consequences after you go to trial are likely to be a little bit heavier, and Majors has some pretty rough charges here, including being accused of strangling her, so should he be found guilty here, the consequences could be severe, and I'm not just talking about probation or a fine. We're going to follow this case pretty closely because I think fans want to know what's happening with Majors. Like I said, none of this is good news for any party involved. Violence is never okay, but we also always take up the position of innocent until proven guilty. Looks like the case is going to go to court and his lawyers will have a chance to prove exactly that.